Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A very warm welcome to today's Weekend with Wisdom session with Swami Brahmavidananda ji. Brahmavidananda ji. Sorry for the misspelling. So Swamiji will be continuing his session on insights from Mandukya Karika. Yesterday, he gave many interesting aspects. He covered about Avasthatraya, he covered about Mithyatvam, and he answered a lot of questions. So today he will continue with that and wrap up the discussion. Just before starting, I'll just want to start with a small prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Swamiji, warm welcome to you again for the second session. Please go ahead and start the session. Yes, we'll take up the questions at the towards the end, 15 minutes or so. So you can put your questions in the Q&A box. Swamiji, please go ahead.
Okay, let's start. Om Sadashiva Samarambha Shankaracharya Madhyamam Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So, building up on what I did yesterday, the Avasthatraya-Sakshi, taking off from there. In the Karika, he makes some very interesting observations. That is, he goes about the Vaitadya Prakaranas. He goes about show the beginning few verses to re-establish rather than Anuvada that the dream is Mithya. Remember, any argument we are giving, I'm in a sidelight saying this, any argument you give to show the dream is Mithya is from the waker's standpoint. Really speaking, you cannot establish which is real out of the two, waking or dream. How do you establish that? Because from the waker's standpoint, the dream is not wrong. Have you ever thought from the dreamer's standpoint, what will it? At least the waker, because of the Sakshi, is aware that there is a dreamer. The dreamer does not know you, the waker exists. You are non-existent for it. So he gives a few arguments saying that, hey, dream is Mithya because you went to sleep, you dreamt that you're gone and met a friend. In the morning, when you check up with a friend doesn't say he has met you. So that didn't really happen. Or you dreamt that you became 20 years older and all the experience of your life. 20 years from where you are now. But when you get up, you're not 20 years old. You're the same age as when you went to sleep. Or you dreamt that you went to another city. You meet your friends there. But when you get up, you're in the same bed. You're not in another city. So like that, a few arguments he gives. He says, the time and space for all those experiences is not from the waking. There's neither not enough time and space to have experienced all that in the waking world. And therefore, if you have seen it in the dream world, it is not true, it is mithya. And after that, he extends it to the waking world. The waking world is an extension that he does. Why? He says, Yad drishyam, jagrate yad drishyam. In the waking, what you have seen, tad asatyam, that is not true. Yatha swapne, as in the dream. Why? Drishyatvad. Remember, the argument is drishyatvad. The hetu, you want to put it in nyaya terms, the hetu is drishyatvam. The hetu for what he has to prove. Therefore, the vakya would be yatra yatra drishyatvam tatra tatra mithyatvam yatha swapne. Wherever there is, you can objectify something, that what is objectified is mithya. Like example, when you give a logic, you have to give it, demonstrate it with an example. Yatha swapne, like in dream, you see everything because you see it. See, he established mithyatvam first. Remember that argument wise, that's very important to understand. He has established mithyatvam by giving a series of reasons. And in our anubhava, nobody takes the dream as real. So as I said yesterday, there may be some people who elaborately try to go and see the dream world, etc., etc. Has your dream any sense? I saw this in the dream. What does it mean in the dream? Or as the Gujarati says, Reva de. It's all mithya only, it's not real. And having said that, now having established the dream as mithya, he brings about this vyapti. Yatra yatra drishyatvam tatra tatra mithyatvam yatha swapne. Now he applies it to the world. World also you see things. They are not real. Why? Because they are something objectified by you. So whatever is objectified by you is not real. It's a powerful argument. Nyaya-wise, you can't break that argument. And in our experience also, we know, if you define mithya, see, the problem is, again, remember, for those who are not here last year, the problem is how you define mithya. If you are translating it as delusion, etc., you cannot use this argument. Illusion, delusion, etc. That's not what mithya is. Mithya, if you put it in English, would be, in short, a dependent reality. Something that exists depending upon something else. Like existing depending upon your father. Jokes apart. As I said last time, kurta is mithya because it depends on cloth. And we went on forward with that. Now, the waking is mithya. Your dream is mithya. Nobody takes sleep as real. And he says, what are the characteristics of it? In dream, in deep sleep, let us start with deep sleep. In deep sleep, there is pure agrahanam, non-comprehension. You don't see, you don't know, you're ignorant of yourself and the world. Your ignorance is there, agrahanam. In the dream, there is ignorance, of course, and anyata grahanam. You have mistaken the reality to be the world, dream world. You have mistaken yourself to be the dream. Anyatha grahanam. Then he says, your waking also is the same thing. There is agrahanam of the reality. You don't know your Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And there is Anyatha grahanam, agrahanam of the reality. Anyatha grahanam, you have mistaken the reality to be the world that you see and yourself to be one finite guy moving around. I have to do this, I have to do that. So, this Anyatha grahanam and agrahanam is common. Therefore, for a lot of arguments, Gaudapada, Sri Gaudapada clubs dream and waking together. Anyatha grahanam. And deep sleep, agrahanam. So, in that, because both are mithya anyway. So, in establishing the mithyatvam, where is the thing gone? And if the experience world is mithya, what you have taken yourself to be a conceptual reality, the ahankara, equally mithya, both have to depend upon something else. You can't have niradhishtana mithya if you want to use a technical expression. Meaning, to give the common example of rope snake, the snake that you see on the rope, you can't come and tell me when we are walking together, let us we are walking together. And I say, hey, there is a snake. Hey, Swamiji, snake is mithya. I said, oh, am I mistaking a rope for a snake? No, there is no rope. No rope? Is there a garland or something there? No, nothing. I'm seeing a snake and you're saying there's no adhishtanam. There's no basis, but it is mithya. How can that be? I'll say, where is my stick gone? Or I'll be more alert. Why? The snake strikes, I'm going to grab it. Yeah, snake strikes, I'll grab him. No problems. So, if you, because look at it. If you're saying the snake is an appearance, there has to be something, a rope, etc., to appear as a snake. It's very important to understand this. Otherwise, you'll say world is based on shunya. In fact, Gaudapada gives a lot of examples of people who say the world is based on this, that. Yes, all of them prove by their argument that there has to be something there, no, to appear. Without a rope or something being there, you cannot mistake it to be a snake. Technically put, niradhisthana adhyasa cannot be there. An adhyasa, a superimposition, a mistake cannot be there unless there is something to be mistaken about. That's exactly why you develop an ahankara. You know you are I am. Nobody doubts his own existence. Can anyone in a same mind say, please prove to me that you exist? It can be a foolish academic question in a philosophy paper. But other than that, cannot be there. Cannot be there. A French philosopher, René Descartes, said that I think, therefore I am. Huh? You think, therefore you are. That means when you don't think, you don't exist. In deep sleep, you don't exist because you're not thinking. Between any two thoughts, you're not thinking. Because one thought, next thought, there is a gap, however small, of not thinking. So do you mean to say that you don't exist when you don't think? Then you're making a mistake that the Kshanika Vijnanan made. The Kshanika Vijnanan made that mistake. I'm nothing but the flickers of consciousness that is there. So once the flickers stop, Aham Shunya. And then they try to experience Aham Shunya. Lifetimes go. Believe me, I have talked to a lot of Buddhists at McLeodganj, at the Tibetan monks, with Zen masters. Even though they call it Shunya, they don't really mean it as Shunya. The Zen masters, etc. Some of them literally take it as Shunya and they spend lifetimes. So I've always done this. Whenever I meet a Buddhist master, I mean, if I'm interested in a discussion, I'll always tell him, unto the Buddha, my namaskara, my salutation unto the Buddha. And immediately he'll say, I am not a Buddha, I am only a Bodhisattva, meaning I'm evolving into knowledge. And he'll never get it because how can he experience I'm not, when really I am something. Minimum, if not everything. In fact, what is left behind after you negate all notions is yourself. After all their negation, what is left behind is yourself. You can never negate the negator. You can negate everything as a negator. How are you going to negate the negator? Therefore, I know that I am, but I don't know what I am. Remember, I'm self-awareful. That's why I know I am. But since I don't know what I am, I will mistake what I am associated with as myself. I will mistake my body, mind, etc. as myself. To give you an example, let us take a well-known actor. Now, I don't know many actors' names that may be popular in the South film industry. I don't see much films. Let us say Shah Rukh Khan. Everyone knew Shah Rukh. He's not a South Indian actor. He's a Hindi, Bollywood actor. He is offered a chance to play the role on a stage. I mean, that's the ultimate of acting. Why? Because no retakes, nothing. There are some rehearsals, but there's no retake. Because of that, he acts. And his role is that of a beggar. Bollywood film. Okay? The beggar is the hero. So he's supposed to go into this restaurant and beg for some food. The security there pushes him. He's supposed to fall on the floor and get up and break into a song. After all, Bollywood, we love songs. Today, in this particular show, that guy who's acting as the bouncer there, as the security there, pushed him a bit too hard. He fell and banged his head on the floor. For a second, he was unconscious, just for a split second. But that created some amnesia. He gets up. Today, a song doesn't burst from his lips. He starts asking fundamental questions. Who am I? What am I? Then he looks at his clothes. I'm dressed as a beggar. I must be a beggar. Natural conclusion. Not happy with it. But It's a conclusion. Previously, he was an actor playing the role of a beggar. No problems. He's going to get more name and fame and money because he plays this role so well. No beggar can play as well as he can. Why? There's background music and everything. No beggar has background music. At the most, he has an ek tara that he twangs along. So, this guy concludes, I must be a beggar. He's not happy being a beggar. But then what will happen? Not a song. He'll start begging, including in the audience. Why? He has identified with what he has associated with. Same thing happens to all of us. I am associated with this body, mind, etc. Therefore, I take myself to be this much. Ahankara, your conceptual self. Purely notional. And when you say, I have to destroy the Ahankara, get rid of the Ahankara, etc., you're giving it more reality than what it is. It is like saying that rope, that snake that I saw on the rope that appeared as a snake, that snake I have to kill. The more you hit it, you're not going to die. Not going to die. Because it's never there. What is there is only a rope. It's not going to run away also. You try to make it run. It's not going to go anywhere. The rope is lying down there. Same thing with the Ahankara. All that you do will only strengthen the Ahankara. Then you will get a very nice super Ahankara. I am a spiritual seeker. Or I am a spiritual teacher. You are the Sachidananda Atma. You are Satyam Jnanam Anandam. Mistaken to be this much. Body, mind, etc. So on the basis of your experiences, you will have a self-judgment which is constantly evolving, constantly changing. And you will have a functioning self, something that's functionally valid. Because remember, the whole world is in the same boat. The whole world is in the same boat. Therefore, you're considered normal. And anyone who speaks about the truth is considered abnormal. Word, above normal. That's why the Gita uses sentences like Kya Nisha Sarva Bhuteshu, that which is in darkness for everyone. That is broad daylight for the person who knows the truth. So all that verses are meant to highlight the cause of that. Now, you have this answer. The only way out for that fear of that snake exercise to go is to see the rope. Similarly, the only way out of this Ahankara and its existential issues. You know, everyone says, I want moksha. What is moksha? Existential issue. Only way out of that is knowing the truth. What you really are, what the world really is. Existential issues means what? Not food, clothing, shelter. Problem has been gone long back. None of the people here have problems of food, clothing, shelter. I don't think anyone who's attending this session or listening to it afterwards have a problem of food, clothing, shelter. But what is the problem? Because I don't know myself, I have identified with the body and mind. Therefore, there is a sense of finitude. I am this much. It's a question of isolation. Question of loneliness. I'm not lonely, I'm a family around. All it requires, they don't understand you. Why are you going and listening on Sunday evening? Why are you sitting and listening to a lecture? Sunday evening, let's have some fun. But the important thing, what important? That's enough for you to feel lonely right there in the midst of your family. They don't understand. All it requires for you to feel lonely is the feeling that nobody understands. In fact, that's the greatest complaint I get all over the world. Nobody understands. Because you are unique. Everyone is unique. Therefore, no one really totally understands another person. Isolation, loneliness, the problem of birth and death, problem of purposefulness. There's no purpose in life. What's the purpose? Tell me. Here is a guy. He had a great purpose in life. He married someone whom he liked, got 2 kids. And he decided, I have to struggle for my life, but I will ensure that my children, I have left behind a legacy for my children. So, what will the middle class man do? He went, he worked hard, took loans, etc., paid off the loans until he got 2 nice flats for his kids. They can stay independent and be happy. And his kids went abroad to study. Most good Indian kids go abroad to study. And then they never come back. What we are losing in terms of talent is huge. Now this old man sitting here feels purposeless. Why? I made these 2 nice flats for my kids. My kids are now going to come back. What will I do with all this? That much is enough to make you feel purposeless. He can't celebrate the fact that his kids are doing well. He feels all that I have done is useless. Not true. Because you did what you did, your kids could go abroad and study. But he feels purposeless. He feels lonely. Isolated. Finite. This is samsara. Freedom from that is knowing you are limitless Sachidananda Svaroopa. The question of happiness. As a human being, it's always, as they say, kabhi khushi, kabhi gum. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm miserable. And that problem is solved only by discovering your Ananda, not experientially. Experientially, you'll always be sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. Always like that. Always like that. We look before and after and pine for what is not. Our sweetest songs with some sadness is for. That English poet you wrote that knew what he was talking about a little bit. He got some insight. Shelley, the skylark. Because it is true. Such beautiful. If only my kids were there to enjoy it, they are abroad. And it's so beautiful. What a beautiful scene. But where is my beloved gone? She's not here. Oh, solitude is such a beautiful thing. But I don't have anybody to share it with. So there is a dukkha lesha in every human experience. Minimum the price you have to give. I'm elaborating this a little bit because people need to understand what exactly is that samsara you're talking about, that you want freedom from. You know, it's exactly like what I saw happening. You know, some time back, I took a class in an area in Bombay called Churchgate. The class was close to the station. So I used to go to the class. There is a coffee shop where all youngsters would hang out. The hangout place for youngsters. And there is a small street kid standing outside, looking at all those beautiful drinks that, you know, iced coffee, coffee and ice cream, cold coffee. And the kid is longing for all that, but he doesn't have the money. He's a street kid. I mean, I know NGOs who work with them, but no NGO is going to buy cold coffee with ice cream for a kid. They'll give a vada pav or some healthy food they'll give in that sense. So one day as I was walking by, there was this student of mine with me, and she's a very empathetic soul. She's an empath. So she asked the kid, "You want that?" Yes. So she went inside, got a nice cold coffee with ice cream and gave it to him. One said, oh, I never tasted something so beautiful. Another said, wow. And he looks at the glass, half empty. Now look at it. If I enjoy more, it gets over. If I don't enjoy, I'm only looking at it. There's no real joy. Very minimalistic. Just the joy that I have. But it's going to get over. Minimum. That is there in all our experiences. It's going to get over. There are some Rajasthani paintings available like that. The couple, you can make out of the drawing. The couple has spent the night together. And the morning, the cock is crowing to announce the sun, rising sun. And what does this man do? Shoots down the cock as the night is going to continue if the cock dies. The cockerel dies, the night is stopped, sun is gone. But that is what you want, night without end. Experiential sukhas are like that. Never, never complete. Never, never complete. Never, never satisfied. Freedom from that is to discover your Ananda. The whole focus of any Upanishad, of any Vedanta text, is not to study a text, look at the grammatical thing, the technical part. All that is good to understand what it is saying. But really speaking, the end of all the text is to know what you are. The traditional teacher is not teaching a text. The traditional teacher is unfolding you, what you are. So in the discovery of Ananda, it's important to understand that all that I'm holding on to is Mithya. I am the only Satya. I am the only Satya. Anandoham. That understanding is the only thing that will free me from the problem of samsara. I am Ananda. So for that, he presents various theories you have about yourself. He presents that. Atma is like that, Atma is like that. It depends upon what discipline of knowledge you're committed to. According to an astrologer, you're nothing but a bundle of karma. You're a puppet for the 9 planets. That's all you are. He says for the calculators of time, time is a reality. Time is pure mithya. So like this, he goes on to show that every theory, in fact, he doesn't bother about every little theory. He says the succeeding ones knock off the previous ones, especially when it comes to I'm the body, I'm the mind, etc., etc. And you look at it, the succeeding argument, like I am the prana will knock off, I am the body, I am the mind will knock off, I am the prana, I am the intellect will knock off, I am the mind, I am ignorance will knock off, I am knowledge. All these are objectifiable and therefore subject to negation. Nitya. Therefore, like this, he presents ideas. The second chapter, third chapter. Presents only to show that the whole thing is Nitya, not true. Because these are notions about yourself. Therefore, it's important to understand that all these notions are not. If you want to put it in modern terms, then you can say the same thing. How will an economist look at you? An economist who's planning the development of the country, economic development. He looks upon you as a consumer. That's it. The middle class has value because the middle class consumes. It earns money and spends money. Unless you spend, the country doesn't get its taxes, it doesn't become rich. Can't do things. Therefore, we are living in a consumer-oriented society. Problem. No economics will like a sadhu. He produces only some teaching and consumes very little. He doesn't buy the latest Apple cell phone. This phone has been going on for 7 years. And bad for the economics of the country. A biologist will look upon you as an evolutionary sample. And we'll wait to see what is the next step of evolution that's going to happen. And you becoming outdated. That's what a biologist will look upon you as. A physicist will look upon you as quantum of energy and wonder where the hell is the consciousness come and how did it come? Because according to the physicist, consciousness is an evolute of matter. Matter at some time magically produces consciousness. So I have a simple question to ask. Since there is no real creation, even according to physics, only manifestation. Is that matter at a certain stage manifesting consciousness that is already there or creating something that was not there before? It cannot be what is not there before. Even the physicists will not accept that. Then the only answer is manifesting what is already there. That's what we are talking. All that is there is only consciousness. And what you call as matter is an evolute. We have a theory for that. Waking, dream, and deep sleep theory in Mandukya, Panchakosha, Viveka, and Turiya. Whatever. Theory of creation can vary. Why? Because we are not presenting theories of creation to establish a creation. Look at it. In Vedanta, in Mandukya and other places also. Why is a creation theory of creation said? First, to establish that there is no real creation, it's only a manifestation. Then to express, to say that this creation is mithya. And therefore, to conclude that what it has manifested from this existence consciousness is the Satyam. All that is there is only Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. What is presented as Turiyam, Chaturtham Manyanti, we saw that yesterday elaborate. So, the whole theory is only meant for that. Whole theory of creation is to show that there is no real creation. It is not to establish creation. Therefore, this is the main teaching. Okay? This is the main teaching. In the second and third chapters, of course, not going into too much into the details, because if I start opening one detail, I'll have to go 1 hour on that. Because it's so profound. The profoundness is huge. But if you understand this much, then how do you understand? How do you understand the truth? Simple, what he's been doing? Shravana Matrena. Shravana Matrena, yeah. By listening alone. So, what the first chapter, the Agama Prakarana, is all about Shravanam. All about Shravanam. Understanding the truth. First, myself as Avasthatraya-Sakshi, and then that Sakshi is nothing but Satyam Jnanam Anantam. This is the whole teaching. Second and third chapters are all Mananam. Challenging this idea. What is Mananam? You say Mananam reflection. No. Systematically challenging the idea that what you have understood, that you have understood yourself as pure consciousness, that idea is systematically challenged. And the challenge can come, like in the Karika, from various different philosophies, various schools of thought. You challenge this idea. The standpoint of Nyaya, from the standpoint of Sankhya, from the standpoint of the Buddha. Today, in today's world, from the standpoint of science, from the standpoint of evolutionary theory, from all these arguments, we can challenge our understanding. And when you learn to answer those challenges, your clarity of this knowledge becomes better and better. because it's necessary manana, get clarity. Because sometimes I just listen to a teacher and say, I know. Really? Then somebody asks a question, say, I had the same doubt. I had the same doubt. Or somebody asks you a question, you don't know how to answer it. That's why when traditional ashrams says there are a lot of discussions and debates. Because Vedanta grew, the understanding of Vedanta grows in the language of discussions and debates. One day somewhere I'm going to organize a proper. There was a time when in this Kumbh Melas, etc., all these debates and discussion, what we call Shastrartha, would happen. Very seriously, okay? They were not, of course, for public consumption. No one from the public was invited. Only traditional teachers were invited. Because the Mela is on, a lot of stuff happens. Kumbh Mela, a lot of stuff happens. And then to a traditional teacher, some sadhu will come. Like to someone like me who was a simple teacher, not a Mathadipati or something. Sadhu will walk up. So, Maharaji, what are you doing at 4 o'clock? Hindi mein. Maharaji, आज 4 बजे क्या कर रहा है? कुछ नहीं, मस्तराम होके बैठा हूं. यहाँ आ जाए, हम थोड़ा गपशप करें. Please come here. We'll do some gupsap. That's his way of saying, hey, there is a Shastra happening, come there, participate in that. And we would go. Others wouldn't know. Because the entry was restricted. Why restricted? Because you don't want the public sitting down and creating a confusion. This was meant for people. So, in traditional ashrams also, Shastra, etc. would happen among the students also. Why? Mananam, challenging your understanding is very, very important for clarity. The more you challenge, the greater clarity you have. Greater clarity. So the third chapter dealt with that. Then the fourth chapter, he says, is Alata Shanti. He imagines your mind as a firebrand, meaning it's a conscious entity. Your mind is a conscious entity. And the consciousness that is there in the mind comes from the fact that you are consciousness. Your body is sentient. Why is this body sentient? Why is it not like a dead body? Because this mind, this jiva, is associated with this body. This mind is associated with this body. Therefore, it is a conscious entity. And why is the mind conscious? Because the manifestation of the consciousness that I am. And why are you consciousness? That question cannot be asked. My Svaroopa is consciousness. It's like saying, why is the water hot? Because the pot is hot. Why is the pot hot? Because there is fire behind. Why is the fire hot? Have you seen a fire that is not hot? Svaroopa. Similarly, my Svaroopa is consciousness. That's it. But my mind is a spandana. Like when you wave that alataha, the firebrand, it creates figures. Similarly, your mind spins concepts and ideas. A lot of concepts and ideas are spun by the mind. So partial Shanti has taken place by Mananam. The complete Shanti, your mind being resolved. See, once doubts, etc. are taken off, another problem can come up. What is that? I know the truth, but I don't experience it. I handled a bit of this yesterday also. I know the truth, but don't experience it. Yeah. Tell me, how can you experience yourself? You can experience your body. Sakyatam. Okay. You can experience your body. You can experience your emotions, etc. How are you going to experience I? I'm the one that goes through all the experience. I'm the one that's the content of every experience, which is what's said in the Upanishad, Bodham Pratibodhitam Mana. That's why before you study the Mandukya, you study all these texts. In a structured study, you'll study all this before you study one. So this, it keeps studying. So, but that knowledge, as I said yesterday, what has gone into the head has not sunk into the heart. Therefore, you need the knowledge to sink into yourself, into your emotional life. Because very often, we are not fully integrated as person. What do I mean by integration? Between your thoughts and your feelings and your action, there is no gap. Let us say this guy is a smoker, but very integrated person. Now he understands how smoking is bad for health. Smoking is a health issue, not a moral issue. Okay? But he's a very integrated person. Huh, really? Smoking is that bad? Yeah. Emotional responses. Oh my God, what am I doing? Poisoning myself. His fingers open up. The cigarette drops. This is called integration. None of us have that integration. You know why? Because you're creating a split between the knower and the doer, the knower and the feeler with every white lie you say. How are you? You're dying inside. You're miserable. I want to fight. What do you mean you're fine? I know you're miserable. No, Swamiji, I'm fine. बहुत खुश नजर आते हो क्या गम छुपा रहे हो South India, okay? You're looking very happy, extra happy. What is your secret sorrow? What is the sorrow that you're hiding from the world? We deny it. We don't want pity from them. Deny it. Deny it. How old are you? How old do you think I am? You're 50. I'm only 45. Another bluff. Unless like me, you are 70. Then you'll want to extend it the other way around. I'm 75. Look at how fit. Another knower, doer split. Every white lie I see. And can you live a life in today's society without saying some white lies at least? You not big lies, small lies. What do you say, for example, when your wife or girlfriend comes and asks you, do you think I look fat? I'm a student of Vedanta. I must have integrity. Yes, you have put on some weight. Kiss the relationship goodbye. No, you are not put on weight at all. I can never get an honest answer out of you. Added both things. Yeah. So,
I think there might have been some internet issue. Swamiji has become disconnected. We'll just wait for him to log in again. Namaste, Swamiji. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Somewhere it just went off. My connection, everything is good.
Okay, okay, Swamiji. Yeah, please continue. Yeah.
That's why we look at, all technology as temperamental. As an old sailor, all technology is referred to in the female tense. Yes. You never know. You never know. Okay. With my apologies to the woman in the group. So, because of these white lies that we say, we have a certain lack of integration. No? Integration is poor. Therefore, because of this artificial split that's there between our emotional life and our knowledge, because we don't always live by what we know. In today's world, street food has become a big thing. When I was growing up, we were told avoid street food. For a long time, I know I used to eat street food, except on the slide as a kid. Why? Hygiene levels. And today, what do they say? Street food festival. Mike, have you seen the nails of the guy who makes your bill? No, my bhel puri wala is clean and safe. Why? He uses filtered water for the chutney or the pani puri water is filtered water. The chutney is made hygienically. But we enjoy it. We enjoy it. Means what? We are not living by what we know. Therefore, naturally, with this mind being like that, split like that, I know I am Brahman. I have a great teacher. So he has taught me I am Brahman. I am clear now. Any argument you throw, I can answer. Quietly, you'll admit, I don't feel like that. And they will pick it because you understand very clearly. You think it is lack of an experience. It is not a lack of an experience. It is lack of owning it up. Your emotional life stands disconnected with the reality. For such people, that means all of us, for such of us, you need to have Nididhyasanam. What is Nididhyasanam? Nididhyasanam is you are sitting down quietly and capturing the essence of the teaching. The essence of the teaching. Not the elaborate jokes, the stories, etc. You are capturing the essence of the teaching and making it and steeping yourself in. So your mind becomes pickled in that knowledge. The knowledge permeates your mind, your emotional life. Until you're fine. You don't need it anymore. How long will you meditate? Until you're clear. You're Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. It's a fact of your life. I always studied with Sampradaya, with teachers. And there was this great teacher I studied from in Rishikesh. In many ways, I consider my guru as one of the greatest. And there was this another great teacher, equally great teacher. All of Rishikesh would respect him. He was called Harihara Tirtha. He was not a very popular teacher. He was staying in Rishikesh, Kailas Ashram, Rishikesh. But he had thousands of devotees. Among his devotees, he was known. But in public, no Facebook account, no media image, nothing. And what would he do whole day? From morning to evening, teach. Whole day, he will sit in one place. From 6 o'clock in the morning, first class, to 11, he is sitting and teaching. Then, he will not even get up for a glass of water or go to the bathroom or something. He would not. He would just sit and teach. Batches of students will teach. First batch, Brahmatra, second batch, Upanishad, third batch, something else. Like that will go on. He'll sit. Then 11 o'clock, he'll get up, go to the washroom, etc. Go have his lunch. Because no breakfast, so lunch is early, 11 o'clock. 2 meals a day. They had not heard of intermittent fasting, but they would do that. Okay. And then 2 o'clock, 1:32 will start again. Up to 5 o'clock in the evening. Each. Then he'll go for a walk, huffing and puffing on the Ganges bank because he's a big guy. Now, this man was asked, this Mahatma was asked by a lady, Maharaji, how many hours do you meditate every day? So he looks at that and lady and says, Betty, why are you putting this disturbance called meditation into my mind? The truth is clear for me. Sachidananda Svaroopa, why do I have to meditate? So until that is that clear, you will meditate. Okay. So last time, a few people had asked me whether I will have a small Nididhyasana session. So I will put a few minutes of, just a few minutes of Nididhyasana right here, right now, online. You all can all do that Nididhyasana with me. It's a very simple process. But some of it, the beginning will be preparation, warming up. Then there will be some Japadhyanam. After that, there will be Nididhyasana. This is the process. You do some Upasana, a little bit, a few minutes. Don't worry, the whole thing will not take more than 15 minutes. So a little bit warming up, a little bit Japadhyanam to quieten your mind, and then Nididhyasana. After that, I will go into what Gaudapada called as the obstacles to meditation. That is the last chapter, the 4th chapter. He also mentions 4 basic obstacles. I will explain that, and then I can take any questions that are there. Okay. So all of you who want to meditate, okay, please sit comfortably. It's important to see that you're sitting comfortably. You can be on the floor, you can be on the chair, you can be anywhere. The idea is to have a comfortable seat. The seat has to be comfortable. If you're sitting cross-legged on the ground, fine, sit cross. If you are on a chair, see that both your feet are firmly planted on the floor. Firmly planted. Now hands, you can just keep hands one on the other and drop it on your lap. You look like this. Just drop it on your lap. Or you can keep it on your knee. Or if some of you are meditators who have been taught mudras, etc., take that. I'm okay with whatever you do. But see that you are not disturbed by other things. That your posture does not disturb. If your spine is erect, naturally you'll be comfortable. It will not disturb. Your breathing, etc., will be fine. Then we need to relax to meditate. You don't meditate to relax. You relax so that you can meditate. Okay? Therefore, you sit straight, neck in alignment, natural alignment. Okay? And close your eyes. Don't worry, nobody is watching you. People are watching me. They're not. So close your eyes. And once you close your eyes, go over your body. I said there'll be some warm-up. Go over your body and see that your whole body is relaxed. Start with your facial muscles. Your face is relaxed. Eyes and mouth are gently closed. No frown on your face. You're not concentrating on anything. No frown. Relaxed. Neck is erect. Shoulders. Neck and shoulders relaxed. Your arms. Biceps, triceps relaxed. Forearms relaxed. Palms and fingers relaxed. Chest muscles relaxed. Breathing is very simple and easy. Relaxed. Stomach relaxed. Sides relaxed. Upper back, lower back, all relaxed. Waist and hips, relaxed. Thigh muscles, relaxed. Knees, relaxed. The calf muscles and the shin, relaxed. Ankles, feet and toes, relaxed. Look at the whole body in one sweep of vision. It's relaxed. It's like any other body sitting down somewhere. And you are the one who's seeing this body. Relaxed. To help you quieten your mind further, pay attention to your breathing. It is not pranayama. You are not doing any yama, any control of your breathing or any regulation. You are just watching the breath. Breathing happens. You are witnessing it. Prana ikshanam. Ayamaha, if another word. Just watching, witnessing the breathing. Breathing happens. You are just witnessing it. You can feel the breath at the tip of your nostrils. Just watch. Just watch. Now it's important that when you're meditating, you are invoking the serious devotee out of yourself, not a flippant person, not a person who can make a joke out of anything, like how I do very often. You need to invoke committed devotee. Therefore, invoke the Lord in whatever form you can relate to. Bhagavan Ishvara is one. You can invoke him in any manner and offer a mental worship, a manasa puja. Be as brief as you want, celebrate as you want when you do it at home. Here is simple. The only rule is make it as vivid as you can. If you are coming and telling me, I never done a puja in my life, it doesn't matter. Puja is an act of devotion. Therefore, in a situation like this, you can do what you want. Generally would be to offer the Lord an asanam, nanam, vastram, alankaram, etc. That's what you would do. When you are doing an abhisheka, feel the water, the heaviness of the water pot in your hand, purely mentally. And as you pour the water over the Lord in an abhisheka, some drops splash on you as well. Feel the coolness of that. And once the alankaram and the vastram and all is done, offer the arati. Final arati is always karpura. Offer that karpura arati. The arati plate down. Take the arati yourself. Feel the smell of the camphor. Prostrate to the Lord and sit down for your japa. When you are doing it by yourself, you can use any mantra. I am using a very simple mantra. Om Ishaya Namaha. Until the Isha, the Lord, my prostrations, my namaskara. Simple. Okay. And when you do that chant, you are not going to visualize the Lord or anything of that sort. You pay the attention to the japa when the mantra is there. You pay attention to the silence when the silence is there. Then from the japa dhyanam, we will move on to nididhyasana. So again, focus on the silence that is there between the chanting. Om Ishaya Namaha. 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 Before the chant, there is silence. After the chant, there is silence. You are the one that is watching the silence. The one that watches silence is silence. Om Ishaya Namaha. Om Ishaya Namaha. Om Ishaya Namaha. From you, the silence, the chant is born. Into you, the silence, the chant dies down. You are that silence. Silence awareness. Awareness that is silence. Om. 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 From you, the consciousness, the chant is born. To you, the consciousness, the chant dies down. Om. Om. Silence consciousness. Consciousness that is silence. Amatra Om. Silence. Om. 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 I am that consciousness. In front of me, there is space. That space is nothing but consciousness. Behind me, there is space. Space is nothing but consciousness. It's in consciousness alone. My sides, there is space. That space exists in consciousness that I am. Above and below, there is space. The space is in consciousness alone. Om. 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 Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Nameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You can open your eyes and come back to normal thinking. So this is a simple Nididhyasana here. I did a very short version. You can start with the short version. Unless you've already been doing Nididhyasana, that is fine. Do whatever you've been doing. Otherwise, start with the short version and keep making it longer. So in the depth of that silence is you, the consciousness. Amatra Om that they talk about, Turiyam, etc., that is you. It's so easy to access it. It's easy to identify with that. People in their spandanam, the mind, make it very difficult. It's so simple. Between the thought arises in consciousness, it dies down into consciousness. What are you? The consciousness. The whole world enters you as a sound or a sight, as a thought. That thought is born in consciousness, dies down into consciousness. No thought can disturb the silence that you are. Your silence is not absence of thought, it is in spite of thought. Once you start recognizing this small little practice, the knowledge flows through into your life. What is here, locked up in your head, your heart accepts, your emotional life accepts it. And then you are fine. So, with respect to this, okay, there are what is known as what you call of some obstacles that land up in meditation. So, Gaudapada classifies all these obstacles to 4 categories. First is Vikshepa. Vikshepa meaning your mind being distracted. Naturally, your mind will be distracted. But you got 100 things to do. You're sitting in the morning, meditating. And what do you think you were distracted? With, oh my God, I have that thing to do. The idea is to develop the ability to keep it away. To develop the ability to keep those disturbances away. How? By practice. Whenever the mind goes out, bring it back again. Krishna says that in the Gita. Yato nischarati tatsamya. Bring it back. Bring it. That's why you use japa dhyana. That japa helps you to bring it back. Japa will help you to bring it back. Plus, learn to isolate issues. Say, yeah, I have a lot of things to do. After half an hour, I'll do it. The world can wait for half an hour for me to meditate. Nothing is going to happen in that half an hour that requires my attention so much. I am not that important in the world. The world does not go because of me, but the world goes off in spite of me. The world will go on. I can afford to take that time off. So with these type of attitudes, and very important, when you're living a life, to be very deliberate, not get distracted all the time. Consciously deliberate. The more you live a conscious, deliberate life, the less the disturbances will be there in meditation. Because you're used to living consciously, deliberate. Now, Vikshepa, yeah, so this is Vikshepa. So deal with that. Memories of pleasant things, memories of unpleasant things, deal with all of them. Another thing he talks about is laya or sleep. Laye sambodhye chitta. This is a big problem in today's world. Because all of us are sleep deprived. Why are we sleep deprived? Hey, we are on social media. We are on the net. How long? Oh, up to 1 o'clock in the night. But then 6 o'clock I have to get up. So if you are sleep deprived, you will not be able to meditate. To ensure that you get minimum 6 hours sleep in the night or whatever you need. If you need more, you take more, no problems. Get that sleep. I will meditate first thing in the morning. I will have my bath and everything. Good. Have a bath. Then you will feel more awake. If you want to have a cup of coffee, please have it. Okay? It is not said that you can't have a cup of coffee before you meditate. You're not using this meditation as a worship. There may be some other rules, etc. Like if you're doing some Sri Vidya Upasana or something, there may be some. But Nididhyasanam, those rules are not there. If you want to meditate, meditate. By having a cup of coffee, not a problem. So, Laye Sambodhi Chitta. Again, a deliberate, alert life. When you're doing things alertly, that alertness will continue in meditation as well. To be alert in life. The third problem that he talks about is called Kashayam. What is a Kashaya? Sometimes when you meditate, you'll find that you are that silence, all right, but it seems very shallow. Let your mind be like that. When your conscious mind is quietened, any subconscious issue that you have will come up. Any subconscious issue that you have will come up. It is good. Let it come up. But when it comes up, you have to deal with it. It may be some grief at the loss of a loved one. It may be some experience that troubled you when you went through some traumatic experiences. So once you become aware of what is the issue inside, if you have that, deal with it like how you deal with in life. Go talk to your teacher about it. Talk to a counselor about it. If therapy is necessary, take therapy. Whatever you need. In olden days, there were no therapies because our culture ensured that there will be no major trauma. Yeah. Because if there is Ishvara in your life, trauma is less. If you're strong, the trauma in your life is less. There's only some problems to deal with. There's no real trauma. I find this when I deal with soldiers. Okay? I have a lot of friends in the armed forces. And I have known American soldiers who have gone through war. Many of them come home with post-traumatic stress disorder and they require therapy. I've known a lot of Indian soldiers who have gone through war and come out. They don't require much of therapy. They just require the love of the family that they have anyway. Whereas in the West, that is very often missing. They have faith in Ishvara. The trust in Ishvara is there. So whatever they have gone through, they surrender to Ishvara. So because of that, post-traumatic stress disorder is very minimalistic. It's there, not that it's not there, but very little. Very few people suffer from that. You hear some cases of soldiers going and killing their own batchmates, etc. So those are because of PTSD. Okay. So like this, if you have anything, previously our culture took care of it, and your discussion with your teacher was enough to take care of it. Your teachers acted like counselors and therapists. Then that tradition little bit went low, not disappeared, went low because with the foreign invasions, etc., teachers went into the Himalayas. It disappeared into the forest. Preserve this knowledge. So the students coming to learn from them are also very capable, competent people who had taken care of all these issues. Adhikaritvam was there. Then they came. Today, when you're teaching in the society, that Adhikaritvam may be a little bit wanting. Some of them, especially, that handling the mind, etc. So go talk to your teacher, talk to people, and take care of it. Kashaya, it is called. Kashaya. And the fourth is the best one. Na swadayet rasam tatra. You meditating. आज बहुत अच्छा meditation. Meditation has been very nice. I'm feeling so blissful. You're feeling blissful, you're blissfully ignorant. Why? Ananda is not an object of experience. You're not experiencing Ananda, you are Ananda. So Gaudapada there says, Naswadayet rasam tatra. This problem is called rasa swada. Naswadayet. Don't experience, don't enjoy that blissful feeling. Prajnaya, by your understanding. Nissango bhave. See yourself as independent of that. Means what? That's only an experience. That Ananda is nothing but the manifestation of Ananda. You are. You are Ananda. Rooted in the fact you are Ananda is important, not an experience of Ananda. So these four categories of blocks he talks about. And once you handle that, you are steady, your mind is immersed in this knowledge and that consciousness, etc. Shantoham, Shivoham, Muktoham, Shuddhoham, any word, whatever words in the teaching struck you as, this is it. Use that word to gain into that silence awareness that you have. After that, what? After some time, you'll find, hey, I'm fine. I don't need to meditate. So you meditate until you come to that nothing shakes you from this knowledge. Now, when I say nothing shakes you, it's not you're standing stable like this table. It is stable. It's a heavy duty table. I use it for my exercising also. It doesn't shake easily. That is not the balance we are talking about in life. Life, the balance is like a ship at sea. It rolls and rocks. But it keeps its balance. Yeah. It's a dynamic balance. That's what you will have in life. So I've talked a lot. I'm sure there will be some questions. And if there are any questions, shoot. Now is the time to ask all your questions.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for a wonderful summary of many, many important insights from Mandukya Upanishad, especially regarding Nididhyasa and a practical demonstration of a Laghu version. Nididhyasa light, we can call it. So, thank you very much, Swamiji. We have got, I think, one question. Viewers, if you have any more questions, please put it in the Q&A box and Swamiji will take it up now. One of the question is, could you elaborate the well-known Vedantic statement about Ishwar, Satya, Jagat, Mithya? Please explain especially the terms Ishwar and Satya. Where and how does the Vakya fit into the world of human existence?
Where and when?
Where and how does this Vakya fit into the world of human existence?
All the place. The Vakya fits in everywhere. Where does it not fit in? Because look at it. Anything that you're dealing with is Mithya. You walk on a flat earth. Are you balancing on a round earth? As it is around, there are bad conditions. On top of it, you get to balance on a ball called earth. You're experiencing a flat earth, which doesn't exist. It's a round earth. Mithya. You experience the rising sun. Mithya. You experience the setting sun. Mithya. You see a blue sky. Mithya. Sky is colorless. You experience time. Mithya. What is not Mithya in your life? Everything is Mithya. Then what is the Satyam? You. So until you understand that, you will take all this as real. Yeah, you'll take it all that as real. So, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya is a fact of your life. You are not recognized it, that's all. So that statement is applied not in a Vedanta class. or at your seat of meditation, day to day, every little thing. As I said yesterday, my hand hitting this looks so real. It is only because both are same degree of reality. 90% is space according to science also. We are all quantum of energy. Atoms and molecules in motion. There's nothing like an external world. Everything is experience here. Firing on neutrons and this thing in your brain. That's all. Neurons and this in your brain. That's all that life is. But it seems so real. So that's what takes some understanding. So it's applicable in everything. That doesn't mean you'll go home and tell your wife, hey, our relationship is mithya. Enjoy the relationship with all the fights and things like that also. Enjoy that. But recognize that it is mithya is a recognition. Anything that you are functioning with, your whole functioning life is mithya. Whole waking life is mithya we are talking about. Not just dream life. That's what the Mandukya Karika is talking about. The whole waking is mithya. Exactly. Like similar to dream. So when you discover your satyam, everything becomes mithya. Otherwise, mithya becomes just a concept for you. So until you discover your satyam, take mithya as a dependent reality, depending upon something else. Not absolutely true. Functionally, see, we have this idea in our head that mithya means not functionally valid. That's where this question is coming from. Whatever is functionally valid is mithya. Once you get that, things will be fine. I think but the question is good. Committed student, join a class and study seriously. Committed. Seriously means in committed manner. Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji. There is one more question. I'll just read it out, and I don't really grasp what the question is. Guruji, how to know the don't need to meditate and lead life easily? How to know that any signals we get that we no need to meditation and lead smooth flowing life in society? How long it takes with respect to time?
I really don't know. How long will you take? Each person is different. It depends upon your level of integration. The more integrated you are, the less time. If you are like the student in the Upanishad, Vitaketu, Gargi, Maitreyi, Arjuna, you don't need to meditate. You're a person of integrity. You heard, Vitaketu heard 9 times, Tatvamasi. He walked away free. You and I are not like that. So we require some meditation. How long? Until you feel you don't need it. When the doubt doesn't come up, do I need or not? That's the thing. Fine. Or go discuss with your teacher. Remember, Vedanta teaching is always with the help of a teacher. Go and discuss with your teacher. Then you're fine.
Swamiji, another question is, can you elaborate more on the last obstacle of meditation? How not to be addicted in that state and how to come back to your functioning life?
Yeah. See, the question is, when you quieten your mind, the ananda that you are will manifest. It will manifest as an experience. This is a question of tasting sugar or being sugar. Same problem. Because we are looking for ananda. We think that experience is everything. But Vedanta is teaching that you are ananda, not an experience of ananda. Experience of ananda is prajnaha, ananda book. The ignorant one. The ignorant one. You are supposed to be the knowledgeable one, the wise one. So you have to take yourself as ananda. So when you experience that ananda in meditation, tell yourself, hey, this is just an experience. Fine. But I am ananda. I am not an object of experience. Anandoham. Shift attention to the self. Dissociate yourself from that experience. Saying, it's just an experience. Like any other experience, this is also an experience. I am ananda. So shift back to consciousness, shift back to Shuddha, shift back to whatever word. Bring that word into your mind. And the content of that word, the meaning of the word, bring it in your mind so that you will be centered on that. That's how to get out of that rasa swap.
Another question, Swamiji, is the waking world seems to be more real than the dream world because there is a sense of continuity. For example, the pizza I left in the fridge before I went to bed is still there the next morning when I wake up. Then how is the waking world likened to the dream world?
It is not likened in the sense that it's same. It is not, we are not saying it is the same. We are saying it is similar. In what way similar? Dream world, there is a sense of finitude for you, the person. Waking world also, there is a sense of finitude. Dream world, you're ignorant about yourself. Waking world also, you're ignorant of your true self. In the dream, you have mistaken notions of the world. In waking also, you have mistaken notions of the world. In the dream, you have mistaken notions about yourself. In the waking also, you have mistaken notions about yourself. So they are similar. They are not identical. They are similar. Swapna tulya. Samsaru swapna tulyo hi. Ragadvesha adi sankula. Full of ragadvesha. Similar. Similar is not identical. Two things are common in both waking and dream. Agrahanam of myself and anyata grahanam of myself and the world. I don't know the truth of myself and I have mistaken myself to be all sorts of stuff. I don't know the truth of the world and I have mistaken it to be all sorts of things. This is true in both waking and dream. That standpoint we are talking.
Swamiji, we have received one or two questions on meditation. I'll just combine them.
Yeah.
One is consciousness itself a meditation? The second is, how often one should meditate on a daily basis? And a related third question is, it seems easier to appreciate that I am the body, but harder to grasp that I am not the mind. I mean, easier to appreciate I am not the body, but difficult to grasp I am not the mind. What is the best technique to appreciate that I am not the mind?
Starting with the last question, again, listen. I would suggest one thing. There is a book which I have resolved I will not teach. Okay? I will not teach this book. But I always recommend every student to read this book. You know why? It is called Viveka Chudamani. 30 verses why I am not the body. Each verse is one argument. Doesn't require explanation. I'm not the body because if I cut apart and throw it away, that is not more taken as me. One argument, correct. There's nothing much to explain. That's why I say I won't teach it. But I advise all my students to read 40 verses why I am not the mind. At the end of it, you'll say, Hare Baba, it is true. I am not the mind. Your arguing mind will give up. The argumentative Indian will give up and say, Brother, I am not the mind. Because they're giving you 40 verses on why you are not the mind. 30 verses why you are not the body. I'm just throwing an arbitrary figure, okay? Don't count it. So much is 31, not 29, not 30. What I'm saying is a lot of verses like that. So when you see that you are not the mind from these various angles, I'm not. So the best thing is simple. You're objectifying the mind, therefore you're not the mind. Start to learn to say no to the mind and body. Feel like doing that. Don't do it. I don't feel like doing it. Do it. You know, we are like this. When the dog has a tail and the dog wags the tail, it's a very beautiful thing to see. You feel very happy when you come home and the dog is wagging its tail. But just imagine the tail is standing still and it is wagging the dog. That dog cannot afford that tail. Similarly, our minds are like, I am supposed to have the mind and use it. But the mind is dictating terms to me. That is bad. You know? Mind is dictating me. I'm being victimized by my own mind. What is that? Yeah. I'm not supposed to be dictated to by the mind. I'm in charge. Nahi hota hai. Because discipline is absent. That's why Vedanta addresses itself to an adhikari. And in the Shak Sampati, Sama, Dhamma are supposed to be the adhikari, part of it. Mastery of your mind, mastery of your body. Learn to handle your emotions, handle your thinking. Okay. Go to my website, vedicwisdom.in. There are a lot of workshops on handling your mind, etc. Well, look at that. Yeah. Once you do that, you'll be fine. It'll be easier for you to understand, I am not the mind. How long should you meditate? Time-wise, length of time? What you're, meditation, sitting in meditation is like sitting for a meal. Ideally, when do you get up from a good meal? When you feel, I can have one more helping. Why? Then you won't get fed up of that thing. Tomorrow you'll come back and be able to enjoy the same thing. Same way in meditation. When you think you can do for another 5 minutes, stop. So that tomorrow you won't say, oh, I'm fed up of meditation. No, I'm looking forward to it. Make it a part of your routine, of your day-to-day life. Don't say, I will get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and meditation is proper. Because if you can't get up at 4 o'clock, meditation also. Say, after my bath, I will meditate. Or after my coffee, I will meditate. Or after I brush my teeth and all, the first thing, I will meditate. So whether it is 4 o'clock or 7 o'clock, you will meditate. Because after that, you're doing it. Make it a part of your life. Then meditation will happen. Nididhyasanam you do after you have listened to teachers for some time. That japa dhyanam, that focusing on the silence, that you can do even before you have listened much. So that is where, as far as meditation is concerned.
Thank you, Swamiji. One question is in Advaita Vedanta of Madhvacharya, is there any discussion of Avasthatraya? Are you familiar with Advaita?
Madhava also has tried to comment on the various aspects that is coming in Vedanta. I have not studied Madhava in depth. I mean, in depth, I studied in depth, but not the whole literature for me to say whether it is there or not. Okay. Some discussion would be there definitely because they're part of it. So, I will sum up all the three things of Vedanta by quoting Anjaneya. At the end of Ramayana, the whole thing was over. Rama tells Anjaneya, no, nothing would have happened without you. This whole thing of conquering the Rakshasas and Ravana, it would have been impossible without you. How do you relate yourself to me? He gives a very beautiful verse which covers all the three levels of Vedanta. He says, Deha Buddhya, from the standpoint of the Deha. Standpoint of the Deha. Deha Buddhya Svadasoham. I'm your Dasa. That's what Madhava says, isn't it? Dasasya, Dasasya, Daso. Because you are Ishvara, I'm your servant. I'm your Dasa. Seva, Bhakti and Seva. What is Bhakti? He will not express the Seva anyway. That Bhakti is only an emotional play. Daso. Jiva Drishya, from the standpoint of the fact I'm a Jiva, a living conscious entity, not just body, conscious entity that survives the death of the body. You are the totality. I am a part of you. From Amshakaha, Vishishadvaita. From the standpoint of real Jiva and real Ishvara. Vastu Buddhya, from the standpoint of the Vastu, the reality of what I am as consciousness. Tvamevaham, you and I are one and the same. Iti me nischit matihi. This is my clear-cut understanding. Who is talking it? Bhakta Anjaneya? Anjaneya the Sevaka? Or Anjaneya Jnani? He was all three. Okay. He was a Jnani playing the role of a Dasa. We all do this to our gurus. To our gurus, we don't. My guru would sit around. Then he would chant bhajans and things like that. I'm hanging around. Okay, then I know he'll take another hour. So I'll go finish some work and come back. He's just finishing his bhajans and everything. Then he would say, I want this thing done. Yes, Swamiji, done. Hey, I have not told you what it is. You may not have the skills to do it. Don't worry, Swamiji. I'll find the people with the skills to do it. Tell me what it is. It'll be done. Seva, natural. He never said, hey, I'm teaching you. You and I are one and the same. Why are you doing the seva? He never asked me that. He understood. I understood. No problem, sir. No problem, sir. So if you understand the whole thing, big picture, everything is clear. Not an issue at all. With Advaita, Vishishtatveda, they are all standpoints, so no problems. No issue at all. They are all stepping stones to understand it. Perfectly fine.
Thank you, Swamiji. I think, okay. Is it possible to think and at the same time to live in awareness?
Of course. Every wise person in this country has done it for generations. For generations, from the beginning of time onwards, from the time of the rishis onwards to now, every person has known the truth, has done it. And that is the beauty of it. When you teach in a place for a long time, you will see the students who came from very, very different backgrounds. Some totally religious conditionings. Like when they come from Patanga and all this, they are totally religiously conditioned. Religion is a good thing. To have that bhakti and all is very good. But to be conditioned by it is a problem. Or the other extreme in Bombay, you will get totally secular. Don't want anything to do with bhakti. Get all types of students. And to see that irrespective of the background, over time, they understand Vedanta in time. Yeah. Because, So once they understand Vedanta, fine. They all are striving. Some of them have become teachers. Some of my students have become teachers themselves. They know the truth enough to teach. Of course, they're working on the Nishta also. That's fine. But this happens. So it can be done. It's not that today's world is a complex world we can do it in any world. You think the Rishi's world was not complex? There is a story of a Rishi who got fire from Isha, from the gods. From Devatas, they got fire. That means we are talking about prehistoric times. You think prehistoric times life was not complex? Oh my God, you don't know where that saber-tooth tiger is going to come from. You don't know where a dinosaur is going to. Look at the risk factors. We don't have that risk. We only have to bother about crossing the road from truck. You don't have to worry about a tiger trying to catch us. They lived in that type of complex situations. Firewood had to be chopped. Water has to be got. For us, water means what? Open the tap. We are living a comfortable life. And we say it's difficult to know the truth. The same. It's as easy or as difficult as it was then, it's now. I'd like to look at it as it was as easy.
Swamiji, one final question. One explanation of Ananda is happiness. Is it reasonable to also explain Ananda as the aspect of my nature, which lends meaning to the entire functioning universe?
Yeah. Very important question, because the word Ananda is used in a few places, but I like to look at it from the Turiya Upanishad. In Turiya, the truth is presented as Satyam Jnanam Ananta. Okay? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. The same is presented as Ananda afterwards. Satyam Jnanam remaining the same. What is Anantam is presented as Ananda. So really speaking, Ananda means Anantam. But then why is the word Ananda used? Why do they not use the word Anantam? To include your emotional life. Because Ananta means limitlessness. You are limitless. When this limitlessness manifests in the mind, it is experienced as joy, as happiness. Now, look at it. even if you don't know the truth at all. Any experience of Ananda that you have in the world is nothing but the manifestation of the Ananda you are. Your mind was projecting into a desire. I want this, I want this, I want this. God. Projecting mind resolved. The Ananda that you are manifests itself. Waking dream, you are busy with so many things. Mind is projecting all sorts of stuff. You go to sleep. Ananda that you are, the Anantam, limitless that you are, manifests itself in the mind as Ananda, as happiness. No agenda. मैं रास्ता पर जा रहा था. I was walking on the road. Velpuri nahi khata tha. I was walking on the road. And suddenly between two buildings, I saw the moon. Tritiya moon, which is blessing to see. The crescent moon, Tritiya. So beautiful. Your mind is arrested. Ananda that you are manifests. Whether you are knowledgeable or ignorant, this is a fact. Okay. Therefore, when the limitless manifests in your mind, you call it Ananda. I don't use the word like bliss, etc., but I use the word limitlessness. I use the word fullness, etc., because this does not convey much. If I use the word bliss or happiness, what gives you happiness is different from what gives me happiness. At 7 o'clock in the evening, after the talk, I may say, hey, sit down, raining outside, sit down with a nice cup of tea, blissful. Somebody else may say, I need something stronger. That is bliss. Somebody else say, no, I don't like the taste of that. What is bliss is different for people. It's a very subjective word. Whereas if I use the word fullness, you're so full, you can't become happier or less happy. You can only manifest. There is some communication. Anantam, limitlessness. There is a communication possible. If I use the word bliss, communication is lacking. That's why I don't use the word bliss. People use it, it is okay. If you understand it, it's okay. If you don't understand, anyway, you're in the same boat, no problem. I can't help joke a bit, you know. In fact, I joke very little in both yesterday's and today's session because I don't see the audience. I see the audience, I joke.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. It was a wonderful session, wonderful weekend. Yesterday also, today also, very packed and lot of things to unravel and reflect upon. So thank you very much, Swamiji.
Thank you. I enjoyed being with you all.
Viewers, do follow us on Facebook and Twitter and for updates about our upcoming sessions, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have more than 11,000 videos on different aspects of Vedanta and Hindu Dharma. Please stay tuned with us. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.